Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome to the Teach Better Today morning show where the team gets to be live and hopefully kick off your morning with you at 7 a.m. Eastern, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And also, of course, as an episode on Teach Better Talk podcast. We're so excited to get started with you. And even though I haven't figured out if we're going to do a creepy commercial, I promise I will figure that out super soon. Katie Miglin is in the house. It is Friday. It's going to be a good day. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Teach Better Today morning show where the Teach Better team gets to be live with you every single morning. This episode of Teach Better Today is brought to you by the Teach Better Team Podcast Network, who is dedicated to supporting the entire school ecosystem through in-depth conversations around topics you care about. Covering a variety of areas in education, each podcast aims to support educators in the field towards creating and maintaining a progressive student-focused classroom. Feel free to go to teachbetter.com/podcast to see all our podcast shows and episodes. Look at that.
Send help.
That felt real. That felt like a commercial.
I mean, it did, except for it felt like you were reading off your phone.
I literally just went to teachbetter.com/podcast and I read this paragraph. That's what I read. Guys,
we're going to keep working on our commercial abilities.
Yeah. I think it's cute. I think it's good because it gives you insight to all the junk the Teach Better team does. Oh, speaking of junk, oh my God, Katie, we have to, for real, all joking aside, all seriousness now, there is a free PD giveaway that we have not talked about on the show that is open for one more week that I really want you guys to make sure you apply. It's been open for 1 week. It's open for one more and then it closes. It's literally the easiest thing to apply for, and it will get you, your school, your district, your department, you and your besties, just professional development, free professional development from our team. And I want you to win.
So how can they sign up, Rae Hughart?
That's a really good question. I think it's teachbetter.com/ Let me find it. Hold on. Free.
She got so excited to tell you guys.
Free PD. Hold on. I got it. Hold on. I'm going.
Gosh, the anticipation is killing me.
Oh, guys, it's so easy. Okay. teachbetter.com/free PD. That's it.
Okay, I was going to say that, and then you not saying it right away, I was like, maybe what I've had in my head is wrong this whole time.
Yeah, so it's super easy. So teachbetter.com, obviously our website, just do /free PD. You can apply there. And I don't know how many free professional developments we're awarding, but I'm going to always encourage it to be as many as possible. So when we meet as a leadership team, I'm hoping we give it to everybody. But the hope would be that if you are an educator, whether you're an educational leader in the classroom, whatever role you have, you can win free PD. And it can be either for you to use in a small setting or for you to use in a full district setting. But
it has been a long time since we've done that, because I feel like we did this forever ago, and it was so cool to just have the connection with educators. And if nothing else, if you as a teacher are I want Teach Better to come to my school, it's a great opportunity for you to have a conversation with someone who can make that official decision and to say here's this company that I follow on social media, I work with them on on the network side. But then we are living, breathing people, and we love to come to schools, and we would love to come to your school. So being able to talk to your administration or, curriculum directors or whatever that looks like for your building, just being able to start the conversation, because we do a ton of stuff. I'm sure you've seen on social media, the wheel that's been pushed out, but there's just so many things that we offer, and we also tailor things to your school and what you need. So if you're well, we need a little bit of that and a little bit of that, we will come and do literally whatever. But it would be awesome, especially to meet some of you in person.
Yeah, I think the PD technically is virtual, but I'm hoping that people are please come in person, and then we can just come in person because it's
Right,
way
but
more
that's
fun to travel.
I guess that's what I mean,
Um,
like, it can be a great starting spot for us
right.
to, like, then continue working with your district or your school.
Yeah, so depending on who you are applying for the free PD to be for,
Mhm,
my like I know a lot of different topics can be covered, but it can be anything from like feedback, grading, standard-based learning. It could be instructional practices like the grid method or the teach further model, which is like student engagement. It could be identifying priority standards, power standards, being able to write targets, utilizing Webb's depth of knowledge to be better at questioning. We
mhm,
could get into trauma informed practices and DEI. We could get into like leadership and strategic planning for professional learning at a district level. Like there's so many different buckets.
mhm.
Obviously, with everybody on our team having a little bit of a different expertise, it kind of gives that whole ecosystem of fun support. So yeah, make sure you apply over at teachpray.com/free PD. I hope you win. And it's just a good way to get us started because, as I have constantly said, and I believe to my core, I never want money, financial status to be the reason we can't support our teachers. So for me, this is the best way to get us support. We've already eliminated the hurdle of money. Consider this like me handing you a free lump of cash and saying, hey, let us know how we can support you. So
Absolutely.
excited for that, Katie. And I have no idea when they find out when they win, but I think it closes on the 23rd. So
Okay, so we've got a little bit of time,
yeah.
talk to people, get an idea, apply, and then yeah.
And I feel like you find out quickly. Like, oh yeah. Oh,
Just
I lied. So it opens September 8th, so it's already open. And then it closes September 24th. So it's a
oh, okay.
Sunday.
Mhm.
And I feel like the turnaround, like again, I don't know how many winners are being selected, but I feel like the turnaround was pretty quick. Like you'll know by October
Okay.
if you've
Then
won.
we
And
can
then you
scale up appropriately.
yeah, and then you can use it like either right away or wait till the spring. It's kind of nice. So
Okay, awesome.
um yeah, put in the comments where you're located because I always love seeing where we potentially could be traveling for stuff. Katie and I like to take cool trips to random spots. So
Mhm.
do you have anywhere that you're well, I guess you're like almost done traveling right
I
now.
am almost done, but I am excited because in a couple weeks, like a couple weeks, I guess by now, I'm going to New York for the Hamptons. We have a client out there that we've worked with for a few years, and they are like just rocking it, doing such good work. But because it is one of my last trips, I'm gonna have my mom kind of tag along, and we're gonna add an extra day, just like total personal, like adding an extra day trip of
Love it.
just going to the city. But the client is actually in like West Hampton Beach. So shout out to those guys out there. Super excited to come visit. But then my mom and I are actually going to drive into the city and do a show and just kind of one last hurrah before baby comes. And so I'm so excited to just like show her like what I do, but also like to have that time with her. So
That'll
yeah.
be really fun. I'm glad you're doing that. That's awesome. And it's not that you're like done training forever. You're
No,
just
no, no.
gonna
I'm
go on
just
maternity leave.
not, it's probably not recommended that I like travel and be really pregnant. So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
mhm,
Yeah, I really like so much of my travel coming up, but even just this year, it seems like what I'm projecting is like obviously Midwest, like Illinois, Ohio, Indiana is super common for us to go. But yeah, you're kind of taking east. I'm taking a lot of west right now, especially
mhm,
since you're almost done traveling for a period of time. But again, I love like the California. I just
mhm.
it's so fun. Obviously, Josh takes a lot of the West Coast too, but um
Okay,
I
I had
just
to
love
laugh,
travel
Ray.
randomly.
This is like kind of a side note, and then we'll get into team talk. I had to laugh. We were both on an email with our one of our California clients, and in the email, she references future dates, all of which, like, I'll have the baby at that point, so I'm not available, which was like sad, but I was like just following the conversation. And in her email, she references that she's like, you guys could come out then because we likely won't have snow. And I was like, that's a typo. That's not real. California does not have snow. I was so like I read it and I said to my husband, I was like, did you know that there's places in California that has snow? And he's like, yes. like, that doesn't seem right. So
That client is literally in the mountains, like in
it's
the
mountain snow, not like what
yes.
we're used to, like flat
No,
snow.
that client, but that school is on it's the coolest place. Like I know you haven't been there and I'm hoping you never go so that you don't know what you're missing. It's literally like in this windy hills, mountains craziness. So
That's
yeah, first of all,
awesome.
driving in maybe snow there sounds awful because I was there when it was like a beautiful sunny day and the roads are like really, really windy. But yeah, I'm going. You can't go. Sorry.
You guys should also know that there are certain places that Rae and I fight about, and
Yeah.
then there are certain places where Chad's like, "No, you have to go." It's
Yeah.
like, "But it's just like my own house. Like, it's just like my own town." So, if you have somewhere super cool,
Yeah.
just send that directly to Rae and I so that we can fight about it.
Well, it's the same like Sandusky, Ohio.
Yes. Mhm.
That ESC that we work with. Chad's like, it's so easy for me to go there because Chad lives in Ohio. And I'm like, nope, 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 nope. Send me, send me. And he's like, it's literally a day trip for me, and it's like a 2-day trip for me to go, but for Chad, it's like a day trip. And I'm like, nope, I want to go. I love the Sandusky, like the ESC that's there. What is that? North Point ESC. They're like the coolest people. The staff is outstanding. It pulls from all these different schools and it's on the water. I'm like, send me, I have to go.
So, yeah, I guess I should say that we don't mind going to a lot of places that are in the Midwest that feel very much like our own hometowns because a lot of the educators, I would say almost all the educators we work with make it work, like make the trip so fun and make it like so memorable. So even if you're driving and we're driving for like 4 hours in the middle of the cornfield and like literally there's nothing exciting about the town, typically the people make it so fun and worth it, and the school is cool. So
Yeah. Shout
all
out
of the
to
trips are super fun, but if you live somewhere that's like really warm and sunny and maybe a palm tree, let me know.
I don't know, like Great Oaks is one of my favorite schools to visit too. That's like
I
outside of
love Great Oak.
Cincinnati. I love Great Oaks. And they're in the middle of nowhere in Ohio. Like, well, there is like an hour from Cincinnati. And I love the hotel we stay in. There's a Chipotle right next door. And then the staff at Great Oaks are like the coolest people of all time. Yeah, they're so fun. I love traveling for work like this, especially when we get choice. So, anyway, excited to come to your school. Go apply. You
Yep.
could literally do it right now during the commercial. It's not a big application. teachbetter.com/free PD. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Teach Better Today morning show. It's already been an outstanding morning being able to celebrate with all of you, and Matt's in New York, so the house is quiet and wonderful in my world right now. Um, Katie, we are getting into our team talk, which is where we get into the chips and salsa of the conversation.
You know,
What
every single day I want to leave here at 7 a.m. We get off at 7 a.m. I want to go downstairs and eat chips and salsa.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's why I like it better than the meat and potatoes. Meat and potatoes, I'm like, I don't want that right this moment.
Yeah.
Chips and salsa you can eat at any point in time throughout the day, especially if we're talking about salsa in terms of like fresh salsa
Ooh, or like
versus
fruit salsa.
right. For salsa in the jar, I have nothing against, but that feels like an afternoon salsa versus chips and
Uh,
salsa that's like fresh tomatoes, fresh onions, and like what's the green
jalapeno
stuff that's usually in there?
jalapenos.
No, cilantro, isn't it?
Oh, not the chunks,
I don't know
like
if it's
seasoning?
that's too spicy. I don't do spicy.
Oh, why are we friends?
Or what about like mango salsa? Like that's a breakfast food.
Okay, we already this was on the ambassador hangout, maybe like a month ago. Andrea brought up how we had pineapple salsa at our retreat and how I almost poisoned Brie. I didn't almost. I did poison Brie, who's highly, highly allergic. 2 pineapple, brie and fennel. Love you. Still love you.
Love you.
Still not trying to kill you. I promise. But there was pineapple salsa, and I had forgotten I ordered a fruit salsa and didn't necessarily pay attention to the fruit, forgetting she was highly allergic. She took a bite. Things were fine, but there was a brief moment of time where I thought things weren't going to be fine. So
I think anytime we have an opportunity to tell Brie and Fennel that she's the best and we love her is a good day. So glad that this came up. Hi, Brie. We love you. Hope you're in the comments with us.
Okay, meat, potatoes, and chips and salsa and all the things. Today, we're talking about writing notes.
Oh, yeah, like writing. Okay, we have this was my topic. I picked this.
Okay.
Guys, okay. So at the beginning of the school year, we write like handwritten postcards to our ambassadors to like hope that they have a beautiful school year ahead. And I obviously, like anytime something goes on your to-do list, you kind of like are like, ugh, okay, I got to get that done. Not in a way that is anything other than it's just annoying to have another thing on the to-do list.
Right.
But I have to tell you, as I was doing it, I loved it. Like it is so nice to intentionally know that you're doing something that might make someone else happy. And because you're like physically writing it, it took enough mental energy that it kind of blocked out the rest of the world to be able to like take a second to dedicate to somebody that in that moment doesn't know that's what you're doing, but like will hopefully get this postcard in the mail a few days later. And I don't know, kind of like transfer that moment of happiness, or at least that's the hope. And I would love to take a second to challenge our community here. Obviously, it's like September and there's a lot going on, but can we take a few seconds and like physically write someone a note that either you're going to mail or put in the mailbox, like at a school or whatever, to, I don't know, just take a moment to say thank you or celebrate someone in your life? Because now that I've done it for the ambassadors, I'm like trying to rack my brain constantly to be like, who else can I write notes to? Like, how can I send out a postcard a day or write a letter home to students or write a letter home to a parent or guardian? It's just so nice. And also I've noticed my handwriting needs work. So I think the more I write the notes, that the better my handwriting is going to get.
I do think there is something to be said about knowing that someone took the time to write it, because we are so lost in technology. Like that's just our norm now. Everyone leans on it. So send a text is great, like to send a positive text or a note or whatever in the virtual space is fine, but it does feel very different when you get a handwritten note from someone. I have to like kind of toot my own horn, our own horn. I worked on a team in 7th grade for many years. And one thing that we struggled with as teachers, we kind of all agreed, was we struggled on the last day where kids have their yearbooks. So typically we had about 150 students on our team, and it was just stressful and overwhelming to have the line of students standing out, like wanting a personalized message. And you wanted to give them that like memento, right? Like everyone wants that. They want something where students like can take away and remember your year with them, especially if they're taking the time to stand in line. But all of us agreed it was like stressful because you're like, I want to make sure I put something nice in, but I can't put something too long because I have 20 kids waiting and my hand hurts. So we decided like one year we're done writing in yearbooks, and every kid on our team will get a handwritten note from us. So we took 150 kids and divided them by the 5 teachers that there were, or 4 teachers, depending on the year. And we just, if you had a personal connection with a student, or if a student like, you had inside jokes or something, but like if we kind of divided that all up, and then we literally wrote handwritten notes to all the students, and then that's what they got with their yearbook. So they literally get their yearbook and the card. And every single year, every year in April, it would come up, and every year we'd be like, oh my gosh, it takes so much time, writing like 30 handwritten notes to students and thinking about what to say. And if you mess up, then you have to start over, like all the things. But every time seeing the student's face because we started it by like, we're not signing yearbooks this year. Here's your yearbook. And the kids would be like, what the heck? Like how rude. But then they would get these cards and they'd open them and like, they really like cherish them. And it made all of the time and energy worth it. And so even if you can do that for students, like students don't get that very often anymore. They get little notes on their papers of like work. But if you could find some way to fold that in, I know my daughter's teacher, when COVID was a thing, and everyone was remote, we got like a letter in the mail that was handwritten, and she's kept it. She wanted it in her memory box. And so there's just so many ways that you can bring some of those things back. Totally encourage you. Yes, in the moment you might be like, my hand hurts and I don't want to do this, but it does make a big impact. So
I love that stuff. That's really good for the end of the year. I like that idea. The other thing I'd love to give a shout out for is, if you haven't done this already, we would do this in addition for like the school year, is we would do an Excel document of all of our students' at names and addresses printed out on labels. And then throughout the year, we would take the label off. It already has their address and their name, the correct spelling, throw it on a postcard and write a quick note. And then by the end of the year, you know that every single student got a handwritten note from a teacher, either from you directly or from a teammate, depending on your structure, because you already had all their addresses right there. And you knew that then every student got that experience at some point. So I feel like there's so many different ways to make this not a completely overwhelming, stressful thing that you're going to make a mistake on. Being able to have those labels or like divvy out students for that yearbook, like now it is for sure you're not missing anyone and you're giving everybody the right feeling.
And you use like a fun, like I always try to find like a fun colored marker, because then, your like writing's a little bigger. So then you're not feeling like you have to fill the pages, there's not as much pressure off of you, but it also like is a pop of color. So if you can buy cheap postcards, you can buy cheap cards, like DM us, we can send you some ideas on how to keep this on the cheap, but still make it manageable for you, because it's so fun and so cool.
So fun. Yeah. So this is your reminder. We would love to hear how you're doing that this school year. And also maybe there's not a student, maybe there's somebody who you're going to write a little handwritten note. Even if you are considering writing a handwritten note today and sending it to your grandparent or something like that, like find a little way to challenge yourself and let's make someone's day a little bit more special. So Katie, I got to go because I'm going to go write you a handwritten note.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Yeah. Dear future baby, I know that your mom doesn't know that you're a boy and she's naming you Raymond, but someday she will discover it.
Yeah, maybe just go back to the drawing books and think about that letter again.
Okay. Should we do another commercial before we end?
Nope. I think just wrapping it up. It's going to be a good day.
Wait, I feel like this is a good time for us to do it.
Bye, friends. Have a good day.
No. Hold on. Hey, Teach Better community. Thank you so much for joining the Teach Better Today morning show every single weekday at 7 a.m. Eastern. We have so many resources for you outside of this live stream at teachbetter.com, including blogs, podcasts, and professional development that will bring our team to your school. Wherever you are listening from this morning, please make sure you are sharing and celebrating the incredible educators in this world. And hey, if you are listening over on a podcast to Teach Better Talk, we would love a 5-star review. The comments are always so entertaining. We'll see you tomorrow. Katie. I didn't click stop recording, so I can still do. This episode of Teach Better Today morning show is brought to you by Free PD. Enter now at teachbetter.com/freepd to grab your chance to upgrade your teaching game for free. Bye, friends.